Okay.
Roll the intro credits, Jeremiah.
And welcome to the D5 podcast.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I think it's right up there with Denanet from ESPN. So,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about some draft prospects, playoffs, and potentially get a little bit in about some trading. Me and Ian were just gushing about Zach LaVine finally turning into a real basketball player this season, as opposed to just a highlight reel. Sort of a similar trajectory to like Blake Griffin, I guess, going from just being a dunker to someone who's actually very good.
I
So
think it's the same thing with Minnesota with Zach LaVine and what's happened like in Milwaukee with Giannis and Jabari. They just kind of decided to move LaVine into the lineup, and now he's kicking ass.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you only know how good someone is based on the kind of chances they get.
Yeah.
And
As soon as Kevin Martin got cut from the T-Wolves, I was like offering up to Dan Marley and the Suns for LaVine, but he wasn't having any of it.
no, I think first we could start on a fun topic. What are some of the most BS trade offers you've gotten all year?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. What did I receive recently? If you've got some, let me know. I'm just going to search for my trade.
I have one right now. It is an offer from the Denver Nuggets, James Johnson, who I barely even know who that is, for 2 second rounders. And we went back and forth.
Your second rounders are pretty much first rounders at the moment, like mine are.
Well, one's a Clippers one, so it's not as good. But one of them's an Indiana one, and that one's going to be at least decent. I can get a guy that I'm looking at. But I eventually started posting back like stupider and stupider trades as a counter offer to him, and it finally went my first rounder for LaMarcus Aldridge, Wall, and that Johnson guy, and he said, "Okay, post it."
Wait, what? Who said that?
Alex, I'm 90%. I'm 90% sure that it was sarcastic, so I didn't actually post it. But I kind of just want to screenshot it and be like, "Oh, he said it, man." I mean,
I
he said
tuned
it.
out whilst I was looking for rip-off trades in my inbox, and then suddenly heard that somebody had offered you that, and I was like, what? But that is not what you said. I get it now.
Yeah, and it was who knows? I mean, what? Maybe he's actually serious. Maybe he really regrets his trade.
I was really surprised that Alex made that trade with Portland because it opens him up to, uncertainty with the player options in there. So yeah, I think since he's opened himself up to that, who knows what kind of insanity he might have delved into.
I mean, he's sort of like he's not really stuck. I mean, he's got a kick-ass team, but I mean, John Wall, I think could probably stay because I don't know what contract he's eligible for, but LaMarcus Aldridge is getting more money than that.
You
I
think?
mean, I know at least several teams. I mean, if you look at the situation that the Dallas Mavericks are in, they could sign him. They could sign him easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the crazy thing is though, is just that like that risk was not even existent before he made the trades.
no, he had no risk whatsoever.
And like Alex, if he hears this, will probably reply with a lengthy reply about why Aldridge will opt in and all this sort of stuff. But and he did, I think he did in the trade thread as well. That's just turned into basically an off-season discussion, that trade thread.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact remains that the risk is there, and it wasn't before. And I'm really surprised he's done it, especially because like the trio he had beforehand, Irving, Harden, and Paul George, are pretty much relatively the same age. that's
And
that
they were
trigger
on
was.
long deals. It wasn't like they were,
Mm, they were gonna.
except for
Whereas
Irving, I think.
Lamarcus Aldridge, he's got a lot of good years ahead of him, but not as many as the others. So it's interesting deal he's
Yeah.
made.
I think it's really weird what's happened to Kyrie Irving with the Cavaliers and his injuries that he's had. I
Mm,
think that LeBron James has really stifled his development
yeah.
as a point guard because his first year he didn't pass too much. His second year he passed a little bit more, and then that third year he passed a little bit more, and he was doing good. And then LeBron James comes and now he's averaging like 3 assists over the past like 25
Mm,
games, and it's like it's really annoying because he was gradually turning into more of like less of that combo guard and really starting to understand being a point guard, and then now just like, oh, LeBron James chucking up another three, freaking losing games.
Cleveland are kind of like the Houston of the East. Like everybody wants them. They're kind of villainous, like the villains in a way.
Yeah, it's frustrating, like, because I'm a big Cavs fan, and the way that the front office operates is just comedic. I
Mm.
mean, they are so reactionary. They don't look long term. If they would have brought David Blatt in and not
Oh,
LeBron and had
yeah,
Kyrie Irving, Wiggins, and Thompson. I mean, Thompson's not amazing, but he's a good player.
yeah.
If LeBron James isn't here, Thompson gets a way more realistic contract.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, he should have accepted what he was offered. I think uh,
he played
Thompson.
it right.
Balls. Did he reckon? Oh, maybe I'm forgetting what happened there. I
He
don't know.
played it correctly. He got a huge contract. I mean, for him and himself, he did a good like he did what
Oh,
he was
did he?
supposed to
Okay.
do. Yeah, he
Okay.
got almost the max.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think anybody on the planet thinks that Tristan Thompson is worth anywhere near the max.
Yeah.
But because he wanted what Draymond Green got, and then they just decided to give it to him.
He is not Draymond Green. I wouldn't trust Tristan Thompson with a
No,
3-pointer.
I wouldn't trust him with a free throw.
No. He's a good guy though. He's a good player.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's the nicest. I've actually met him. I met him at a Chipotle in Cleveland,
No way.
which is awesome. Yeah, he gave me a fist bump, and then I just walked away because I figured it'd be kind of annoying because he was eating. But
Yeah, yeah.
I
You gotta
mean,
leave celebrities alone.
compared to real, this was before he was even really famous. No one even recognized him.
Uh huh.
This was before we had LeBron, so no one was even watching the games really. Um, LA has him on an amazing contract compared to what his real life contract is, though. I mean, 6 million,
Yeah.
$7 million a year.
Where is he? Tristan Thompson. God, yeah. Whoa. Well done, Magic Johnson.
Well, I mean, if you remember correctly, I mean, didn't he get signed to like a 35 player option contract that one year, and he
Really,
immediately declined it.
really, and then got signed for some shitty contract. It looks.
Yeah, I mean, he made a little bit more money than he was making on those player options, but then you look at what he made in real life, and it sort of looks stupid now.
Yeah. Well done to Magic Johnson getting in there when he
There,
could.
there are quite a few like really value deals that are going to become very important, I think, as the cap goes up.
Hmm.
Like, for example, I have Omri Caspi making $3 million a year.
Yeah.
He's going to be a 77 or something when he gets his boost. I mean,
It's just a good bench guy for a championship team that won't even be taking up space really when the cap goes up.
yeah, and like there's a couple people like Miami has Tony Allen, who's only going to be making 3 million next year.
Hmm.
Terrence Jones. I don't know what Miami's doing. They traded LeBron James to the Golden State
Yeah,
Warriors, and the Golden
didn't
State
like
Warriors
that.
have not won very very consistently since that.
That's true. Yeah, neither of those teams have won that trade really. It's kind of weird how that's ended up. I was thinking Golden State would dominate even more, but it's this it's still like what top 5 teams in the West now, as there always has been. Who's this?
Hey guys.
Hey, James. This is
Hey,
Charlotte James, right? Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, is there another James?
No, but I mean, it might be a
their real
GM
life
real
email.
life name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a real
Uh,
life name. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we are a part of the group, the small group of GMs who just use our real names as opposed to,
I like that more.
yeah, makes it seem like we're actually making money doing this.
yeah, I actually pictured Charles Barkley though.
Oh, I mean, that's actually Charles Barkley. He actually lives in Ohio and is my friend.
Erna, this test is.
It's
Dedicated.
terrible.
That was my terrible impression
I'll be
of
back in
Charles
1 minute.
Barkley. Huh?
I'll be back in 1 minute. I got
Okay.
a call.
Okay.
So I think. Oh no, I'll wait till James comes back. But basically, I can't believe how much Milwaukee has been savaged by player injuries this last month.
Oh
Marc
my
Gasol,
goodness.
like there they were finally up the top of the East, and then Marc Gasol, Anthony Davis, and now Chandler Parsons as well. They're
Bradley
all
Beal can't be far behind. He's always getting hurt.
yes, and the playoffs are around the corner, so it's his time to get injured.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, how realistic is that? It's so realistic. Like that
Yeah.
happens all the time. And you know if it happened when you were playing like NBA 2K, you just freaking go back to your old save and start over. So in this kind of situation, I mean, it doesn't suck. I really feel for Glenn right now because that sucks. Do I feel bad for him? No. Look at his team. He's in a great position regardless of what happens.
He'll be
The,
fine.
the only reason Anthony Davis is getting shut down, I don't even believe that Anthony Davis has gotten injured. They just want to get better draft picks. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, they do want to just shut him down because they're doing badly. But I mean, also the injury. I mean, it's severe enough to keep him out of the Olympics, and he does want to play in the Olympics. So I think it's not like just some nonsense injury, but
It's got to be
yeah,
frustrating to have that good of a player who's that.
yeah.
He's been
If I
injury
was
prone.
if I was Glenn, I would be super pissed off about that. That
Yeah.
sucks. And of course, JR. If you look in the injury thread on page 6 at the moment, JR did not miss the opportunity to stick the knife in. That's what you get, as he says to Glenn. JR, you son of a bitch. As if it wasn't bad enough already. You were on course to kind of. I mean, really, James, your Charlotte Hornets are the only. I don't know. Maybe there are a few good teams in the East, but Milwaukee and Charlotte
No,
seem to be sort of,
Toronto is definitely up there. I think with me.
on paper, yeah, but on the wins column, they're kind of. Well, I suppose they're still good, yeah, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they'll catch up. I'm kind of scared of them.
I think that you need to be scared of potential Eastern Conference Finals matchup with Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's true.
Imagine if it came down to that. That'd be hilarious.
And then you lose.
And then you
Because
lose,
that would,
and then the shoe would
you'd have to
be.
eat two shoes.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
I think that's the kind of undercurrent storyline of the whole season is the shoe.
Was it he was like second in the league and then he traded or second in the conference or something like that and then he traded Ilyasova and it just went all downhill.
No,
Cleveland.
that was like when we were 5 games in or something.
He didn't trade him. He traded him recently though, I thought.
Yeah, Cleveland. did,
Really?
yeah.
I don't.
I mean, they might not have been like right up there at the top, but I mean, he was like third or fourth seed.
I don't know.
I mean, there's really no one to push him out besides Detroit.
Yeah, and Detroit's
Yeah.
trading Millsap, so
Yeah.
Ilyasova got traded just last week to Phoenix.
yeah. And Ilyasova, I mean, he's a stretch four, and we all know how that happens with Dirk. So if you get even a light version of that, you're bound to
Yeah.
have some sort of success. That's why I traded him away.
I'm looking forward to no longer being a tanking team. I'm hoping.
Me too. I'm so the next year's league is going to be competitive as hell.
Well, yeah, let's hope. I want to fly the flag for the East because there needs to be much better teams in the East. There's so many tankers and stuff.
Yeah, they're.
I'd
I
like to
can't.
personally thank Larry Bird for choosing this season to tank because I've got his pick. I think
Seriously, he was fifth in the East last year. What happened?
well, yeah. I mean, who's on his team now? There's just nothing. I mean, if you're talking about
Who was on the team
assets,
last year?
well, yeah. To be honest, yeah, there wasn't many good players on there.
He
He's got
has
like,
had unprecedented roster turnover. If I remember, if I saved it, I don't know if I did. I did a calculation of who all he gave up. Oh, I deleted it. Damn. Who all
I
he
remember
gave
you
up
did
to
that,
get Reggie Jackson, and
and then he just gave Reggie Jackson away.
yeah, and you know what? As I was doing it, I decided not to post it because his team was measurably better over all those like 30 trades that he made. That
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, all right, he gave up these players, but then he got these players back, and it actually was like, I was like, that's actually not bad, like in the grand scheme, because you know how like you gradually get reduced returns every time you trade somebody that you traded for. I guess it seems that way. He was actually getting slightly better players each and every time,
Hmm.
and then he gave away the one thing that made it look like he was actually doing a really good job because he wasn't giving away picks or nothing.
Listen to his roster last year that was good enough for fifth place in the Eastern Conference.
Well, no, I think that they were pretty kind of like a surprise team last year. I didn't think they were that great.
Well, J.J. Barea was his starting point guard.
Yeah.
Rodney Stuckey at shooting guard. Ryan Anderson at small forward, I think. David
mean-
West and
Yeah.
Andrea Bargnani.
And he still
that
had
got
Ray,
him fifth
Ray Allen
place.
on the bench. And
Yeah.
like, if you've got a couple of 80 rated players, that's enough to get you in the playoffs in the East. That's for sure.
I mean, I guess.
It's really interesting, and it's quite it's really cool how the sim is allowing a team that clearly doesn't have as many very highly rated players.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons I considered getting Kristaps over Towns was the fact that he could form that Dirk kind of level sim magic,
Maybe
maybe.
that's why he's doing so well. Why Cleveland are doing well. But they were doing well before Kristaps was in his starting lineup. He started off with Kristaps on the bench.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think it has to, I think that he's put together a really cohesive roster. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
maybe that's
it's still
something
an,
people have to focus on a little more moving forward. Is maybe
So-
not just getting as many highly rated players as they can, but
yeah.
getting players that seem like they work together.
Oh, you know what? Cleveland by a long, long way shoots more 3-pointers than any other team in the league. Their GM Sakuragi asked me for those stats, and I took a screenshot. I'm just going to find them.
Oh, there's limited access to these stats?
No,
Well, it just
no.
would
I
take
mean,
forever.
I guess if people ask for them, I'll eventually do it. I guess, but
Well, that's like season-long stats and stuff, like combined totals stats and stuff.
but like the Cavs had much more 3-point attempts and makes than any other team in the league. So like maybe they're doing well because there's a bias towards 3-point shooting in the sim or something. I don't know.
Well, I think there's a bias towards three-point shooting in real life.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you get a guy like Kristaps at center who has some 3-point range, like Dirk, maybe that makes you do well. Mind you, the best team, I think the strongest team we ever had was when Golden State won 25 games to start the season, and that was with Dwight Howard at center, so it's not exactly like he's a good 3-point shooter.
It was also a Steph Curry at point guard.
But yeah, he did have that guy.
Well, I mean, he has. If we look at it, he has Mario Chalmers, who's pretty much just a 3-point guy, Danny Green and Kristaps, and everyone else is sort of just average or terrible. But he did
Yeah.
have Ilyasova, who was also a 3-point shooter before, and he was doing a lot better.
hmm Yeah.
Oh, that Thomas Robinson contract.
See, the Lakers have got Tristan Thompson for the same price as Thomas Robinson. Ouch.
The The real interesting thing, I think, is these max contracts and the fixing of the sort of abuse of options, I guess,
Hmm.
coming this offseason, and I'm really excited about that because these player options, you GMs that offered them, you put yourself into this mess. Like, don't even complain about it if your player leaves because you did it. And
It was partly because of the nature of what we were expecting last off season, I think, as
yeah,
well.
it didn't
Everybody was
happen.
offering second year player options, which is, of course, illegal in the real life NBA, and now it will be on our league. But I don't know. It was so tricky last off season to anticipate the right thing to do, because
Well, everyone was saying it would happen, and then everyone's just like, yeah, I'm not risking $100 million if I tear my ACL. Like that's
yeah,
why Milwaukee's gonna have Marc Gasol on their team next year is because he got a season-ending injury.
yeah, yeah. I'd be surprised if he opted out.
That
I mean,
and I think that he probably would have stayed anyway just because he's an older player.
yeah.
But
It's also like a point that I know just from like being on the staff and like when we're deciding player options and stuff. When we're deciding player options, I think we generally sort of do err on the side of you know, players should return to their teams unless there's like a pretty strong case that they're going to leave. You know, a pretty because it always just seems. I think it's an effort to try and just be fair to GMs because they've clearly invested in these players and things, and there should be some kind of reward for investing in players, especially when you trade for them and things. But I think it's more about like you know what was I saying? Oh, I've lost my train of thought.
No,
I think it's good to kind of to err on the side, unless there's a very good reason a player should
well, I
not
don't know
stay.
about very good reason, but I think definitely you have to give a significant advantage to the re-signing team because we don't have real life fixtures like sign-in trades, or you can't make an agreement with a player like you
Mm,
can in real life that's going to return. So I think to compensate for that, you just have to give that at least a larger advantage, to the re-signing team.
well, I mean, here, my opinion, I don't have a problem with giving people an advantage on re-signing them, but as far as an advantage on whether they're going to take a player option or not, if they're going to get more money, I don't think that. I think a player option is different than like. Do I think that Alex should have an advantage on re-signing LaMarcus Aldridge? Sure, on re-signing him. I don't think he
yeah,
takes $22 million when he can make $27 million.
the tricky thing in that case, I mean, yeah, the tricky thing in that instance though is that if LaMarcus Aldridge does opt out, then Alex cannot re-sign him because it doesn't have the cap space. But
Yeah, well,
he knew that risk.
I offered to take Josh Smith off of him. I mean, he can dump players and make room. Actually, I don't know if he can.
Yeah, he
I don't know.
absolutely cannot. He has an insane salary.
Yeah, I think it's beyond it. He's gone beyond. He's taken it a level deeper.
And then you gotta look at the Spurs like Dallas Mavericks up there, still competing and doing very well. And he's gonna be able to sign an extra max contract guy without doing anything next year.
God, it's so true. Yeah. Jeez,
I
he's
mean,
got Dirk for 11 million next season,
yeah. Oh, I mean, he
which
did
is
that in real
nothing.
life, which is nice. But I mean, if all he has to do is, I mean, trading for Ty Lawson was probably not the best idea. I don't think anybody takes that contract, but I mean, he
Mm.
could trade Tyson Chandler to somebody.
You know what? I think that Dallas did a great job because I mean Tyson and Lawson really are on pretty objectively terrible contracts, but it's keeping him competitive, and I think that'll make him a lot more attractive for that max contract guy that somehow inexplicably he'll have room to sign. Like,
Well, I mean, look at his role. He's done a very good job of picking role players, and um, he has a couple guys like Mike Muscala. I don't think is a 64 overall. That guy deserves a boost. Then he has him locked up on a really reasonable contract. DJ Augustine,
Mhm.
when the cap goes up as much as it's anticipated, these guys on little 2 to 3 to $5 million contracts immediately are that much more valuable, I think.
Well, that's why I traded for KCP.
Well,
Yeah.
Contavious Caldwell Pope is awesome, and I've tried to get him off you like a million times. So
Yeah, but that 2 million, he's less than 2 million for the next 2 years.
yeah, and
Damn.
he's going up as well, I think.
Yeah, but not by much. Nobody. He does have some issues, with his shooting, but I think he'll come around.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually started to field offers for Marcus Smart. Uh,
No, no way.
Only a couple of GMs know that, the people that have received the offers. But man, there's like 65 guards on Boston Celtics team in real life, and it's so hard to get a good judge of like actually how good he is. I mean, he doesn't shoot well. Um, he passes okay, but he turns the ball over too damn much. Like it's very it's scary. I think he's gonna be fine, but it's looking more and more like he is closer to Tony Allen than Tony Allen with a 3-point shot at this point.
I think he's kind of his ceiling is. I think it was when he got drafted, and it still is sort of borderline all-star, maybe. That's his
Yeah,
ceiling.
his ceiling is that guy that is always in the articles about getting shafted for not making the All-Star game. Like,
No, I mean,
this
if
guy
he
should
doesn't,
have made it like Mike Conley style. He never makes
yeah,
the All-Star team, but he's really good.
and I would say that's his ceiling actually. He's just,
Yeah,
but he's a different, he's a strange. I don't think I really know another point guard like him, except maybe Baron Davis or something. He's just like super strong. Um, but yeah, God, I don't like his shot. It's a very ugly shot.
yeah. He drained one in the rookie showcase thing that they had,
Hmm.
and I'm
I
like,
didn't watch
oh,
it.
that's a good sign. And then he just did nothing the rest of the game, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was a fluke. Atlanta Hawks. They are going to have most likely another mid lottery pick. They cannot get that high pick. It's got to be very frustrating for Jay-Z.
It's the same thing every year, isn't it?
He has literally been in no man's land, and he's I think he's gradually just pissed off enough to where he traded for Nikola Mirotic, and
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be a big player in free agency this year. I
Really?
mean, I think he's going to be. I mean, unless he wants to just count on teams like me and Boston, and I think Utah tanks for another year. But I mean,
I mean, it is frustrating, and he'll want to be a big player, but like, how many free agents can you realistically entice to come play with Cody Zeller and Kelly Oubre?
Yeah,
well, I
indeed.
mean, Mario Hezonja has been very good.
Very
Yeah,
good.
but you don't.
For a rookie that no one really knew about, I think he's done a really good job.
Well,
Yeah.
when was he picked?
Like fifth or something.
But like, he's
I
not going
didn't
to
realize
be
he
a
was
free
playing now.
agent
Yeah,
for.
he was played fifth overall, but he's only put up 5 points. That's the detriment of playing under Scott Skiles.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's played. I just like the way he plays. I guess if that makes any sense. Like he's been a lot more of a team player type guy than a lot of people were. People were thinking he was going to be like immature or something.
Mhm.
He shoots 90% from the free throw line,
And 41% from the field.
and but he shoots them. I believe. Um, I believe this. I think that if you shoot really well from the free throw, the chance that your 3-point shot is actually legit goes up. If you shoot very low from free throw, but for some reason you're shooting a great 3-point percentage, I think that there's a good chance that you're probably a flash in the pan type player.
Hmm.
Which is like people say, oh, Brandon Ingram's got this great 3-point shot. I don't see it because A, it actually hasn't been that good, and you're closer to the hoop, and B, his free throw shooting sucks. So what does that say to me about his ability to actually shoot? Implies that it's not actually as good as people think it is.
He's so ridiculously long though.
He is. I mean,
He's like a Kevin Durant body type.
yeah, but how many people do you know that shoot sub 70% from free throw that also shoot
Yeah,
above league average from three? And I don't think it might be one or two guys, but I don't think that there's a lot.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a huge indication and stuff. Um, I think Chicago Bulls are going to be interesting this offseason because they've got like their entire team to re-sign, and then I
Yeah.
reckon they're going to probably go all in for LeBron or something.
It's weird because, I mean, I don't think that he wants Joakim Noah and David Lee back unless he can get them back at like $3 to $5 million a year. Yeah, and Aaron Aflalo is good. I don't know
Yeah,
if I don't know if Chris Paul takes that contract or not. He's getting old and he's always injured, so maybe he does. I mean,
Chris Paul has been the MVP of Dynasty 5 this year.
has he?
He's posting ridiculous stats. Hang on a second, let's have a look. He's posting 29 points a game, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals a game, which is pretty huge for our league.
Wow.
Anyway.
I mean, let me ask you: if you had an opportunity, would you sign him to a max $30 million a year contract
Chris Paul?
for 4 years? Yeah.
No, because I don't like watching him play. But but yeah, he is worth that, isn't he? I think so.
Someone will give it to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
someone will give it to him, but I mean, is he worth that? I mean,
Well, that's
I
what the
don't-
market demands, you know.
I'm not giving him that contract, and I'm looking to win next year. So, I mean, maybe someone who their title window is there, and
You know who? I just want to hijack this conversation real quick.
okay,
The Knicks. I think that's a really interesting team to look at right now. They
Knicks.
have the Houston Rockets pick. They have the Philly pick. They have the Portland pick. They have their own pick, which is going to be a top pick. They've got Vonleh, Gordon, Hood, Covington, that's Kaminsky.
I think they got the inside track on re-signing Morris.
If he even wants to, I mean, he could just let him go and keep his low salary rookies like Gordon and Hood.
Could be a really good young team next season.
I think he's got to be the next, rebuilding team to make it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
depends
wanna-
on how he wants to do it. I mean, if he just wants to keep drafting, because I know doesn't he have a couple picks for next year too?
Yeah, that's what I said. He has Portland's pick, he has Philly's pick, he's got Houston's pick, and he's got his own.
That's this year, right? Though. What have they got next?
Oh, next year he's
Next year
got
they got Phoenix
Suns
in
pick.
as well. Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
got all of his own picks.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Keep that as a lesson to all the other teams out there that are considering rebuilding. Keep all your picks.
Well,
Yeah.
I traded mine, and I'm not too upset about that.
No,
No, you're
but I
doing well.
mean, you're in the playoffs. It's different.
Oh no, I meant early on for Mike Conley.
Oh,
Yeah, but it worked. I think that was a good deal.
Sad to
Like-
see him go.
I like
And-
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley's gone to Oklahoma, and since he joined Oklahoma, they've like shot up to the top of the league. And now
Well, yeah,
they're
Who was he even running at point guard? Rubio?
yeah, he had Rubio.
And then Trey Burke? He's had some significant injuries as well, but
Yeah, and he had Millsap, but not anymore.
well, because who does he start at the three now? Gerald Green or Jared Dudley?
I think he plays Matt Barnes
No.
there.
I think it's J.R. Smith, isn't it?
Well, J.R. Smith is his shooting guard, but
Yeah.
Tyreek is injured, so
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Hang on. Let's find out. Oh, just need to look at sim changes, really.
I think isn't he playing Durant at the 4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working out well.
Yeah.
He'll have enough room for another max.
Okay,
Well,
so at the moment he's got.
He has to re-sign Durant.
Yes,
And
but
then-
they're both on bird rights, so the cap
Mm.
hold on them, on Cousins and Durant combined, will only be about 42 million.
But if he re-signs Mike Conley, that'll be another 20 million.
Well, I'm just
I
saying
don't
he
think
could also.
Mike Conley's getting
He
$20
could, yeah.
million a year. Mike Conley's like, isn't he 31 years old or something like now? Maybe he
I
gets
think-
that same contract.
His injury history with Mike Conley, I think, is going to keep him from. He's just been perennially a bunch of small injuries that have just, I think, like
Sapped
not
him.
only hindered his play, but flat out kept him out.
He's 28, is Conley. 28.
Oh,
or
really?
something.
He's not that old then.
He plays like he's older.
Yeah, he looks older. It comes from that Ohio State team with Greg Oden where they all look older.
They were all doing steroids, is why probably.
Yes, God. And he's got J.R. Smith expiring as well, so.
Yeah, and J.R. Smith based on what he did in real life, I could see him taking a lower deal than that to stay
Hmm.
with a title contender.
I mean, given that OKC have just dominated the league at the moment, they really are kind of. They're a couple of wins ahead of top spot. You know, it's probably just look to keep them together, and if he does that, he's only got sort of. If you re-sign J.R. Smith for like 15 million, you'd have 7 million-ish left.
Yeah.
So, but then you've got to re-sign Kevin Durant with the bird rights.
You don't know.
What about Golden State re-signing LeBron?
Yeah.
I think they can. I mean,
Then they got to re-sign Clay, but they got bird rights and everything. He's not going to go. I'd be surprised.
Best
if he goes.
contract in the league, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
yeah, really. How does what player takes a discount towards the end of their contract? That's dumb. We need to stop doing that.
I guess some people do it. It's pretty rare, but God, you know, I can remember back in like 2000 and whenever. When did he get drafted? 2009. I remember, and Golden State traded away Monta Ellis when they had Ellis and Curry in the backcourt, and I was thinking, what the hell are they doing? This Curry guy is not that good. And
Well, he was
like-
always hurt, wasn't he? That was
Yeah,
back
he
when he
was,
was injured all the time.
But also, I mean, I just didn't think he was that great because he doesn't fit the mold of a normal good player. You know, he's
Mhm.
not super athletic, and he hadn't shown just how dominant he could be. Yeah, God, I was so wrong on that.
I think that Steph Curry is amazing, but if you take even one of those shooters out, that he has around him to be able to operate on the inside, I don't think that he's nearly as good. Now you can say that about a lot of players, but I mean,
Yeah,
then again, if you can shoot from half court at 35%, then maybe it doesn't freaking matter.
yeah, God, he's amazing.
The fact that his team has just sucked with LeBron is like, I mean, he has no shooters other than Clay and Steph.
Well,
And
he's in second place in the West, so I wouldn't go far as to say they're suckers.
well, I mean, he beat me.
They must be doing something right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as like, I don't think Steph Curry's like shot that well, despite the fact that we jacked his 3-point shooting up to like the max it could go.
I know, that's really bothering me. The problem with a guy playing better than a video game is this, isn't it? Because I can't, like, honestly, I've taken a look at everything on the database and on his player profile on the game, and there's, you know, you can't boost his 3-point shooting anymore. It's just impossible.
Yeah, I mean, and what makes it just makes it dumb, really. I mean, it's like you're sitting there like, why are you shooting 35%?
Yeah. Indeed.
Do you do
Oh, yeah.
league leaders anymore, Ian?
No, but I should, I guess. I'll write a program for that eventually.
Oh, another program.
I love these programs. They make everything just instant. Like, instead of it taking... God, I remember in the old D5, I used to manually create the entire league salaries database and manually recalculate team totals and stuff every time there was a trade and a signing.
Ooh,
Crah.
that's rough.
It was, but then now I've got the Google spreadsheets, and these programs, make it so easy. I might do an off-season league because it makes it so easy.
I gotta run right now, guys. But this is a great podcast.
All
See you,
right,
James.
James, it's great to have you. Let's sign you off with the
Don't forget my trade offers, James.
sign
Oh yeah, I'm still thinking.
sign you off
Don't
with the
forget-
official
Don't forget me, James.
The official what, Jay?
official sign off sound.
Great. Goodbye.
What was that from?
Same show.
Oh, Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I need
it's
to watch more of that.
such a good show. Here's another one. Hey Adam, when you're trying to get free agent signs this year, and I'd end up coming and getting them.
Lick my balls!
See, like ESPN and stuff, they should use all these sounds. We need to lecture them in how
Yeah.
to run a really good podcast.
Yeah, like could you imagine like it's like a Chad Ford podcast. It just comes on. It's just like fart noise. Like, like, yeah, we're serious about basketball.
Stephen A. Smith ranting along, and then Lava Medvedenko, and then I don't know.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let me tell you something. Me and him go on long walks on the beach regularly.
Stephen A. Smith's ridiculous.
Have you ever
Jesus.
seen the Saturday Night Live like impersonations of him?
No. I am saying emphatically.
Oh yeah.
Bloody blood. Oh man. That's what we need here. Hey, James has come back.
I don't think he logged off.
We need a Stephen A. Smith in this podcast. That'd be amazing. Anyway, right. What should we talk about next?
All right. Let's go. Let's do playoff matchups,
Okay.
and then we'll talk about the draft prospects and a little bit about the
Speak-
off season, and we'll put this to an end.
Speaking of the playoffs, I was just looking at the standings earlier today, and there's actually quite a gap between 8th and 9th position in both conferences. So Minnesota has a huge gap. They've got 6 more games won and 5 more less games lost than the Pelicans in 9th. So I don't know. It's going to take a long time before our Pelicans or anyone kind of nudge their way into 8th position in the West. And in the East, there's quite a difference between Miami and Detroit in 8th and 9th as well.
Yeah, I think
Kind of a
that
big drop off.
as long as everyone stays the course, and assuming schedules are equal, I think that the 8th seeds are pretty much safe to be decimated by the first place teams in their respective conference.
I remember in the very, very, very first D5 season ever back in 2007, and Minnesota beat prime San Antonio Spurs. Well, they're still prime, aren't they? But and that was the hugest upset ever. That was. So it could happen.
It can, yeah, that's true.
And with Milwaukee's injuries, whoever gets them in the first round's got it off easy. I think perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland has a legitimate shot of
Oh man,
taking
if Cleveland match up with Milwaukee and then get to the conference semis with that team,
it.
that'd be amazing.
So they would end up playing after that the Philadelphia 76ers, assuming that the 76ers can get past the Nets.
Hmm.
And none of this is a given, especially given don't they have Chris Bosh and his injury problems and
Yep.
with
Sixers
his
are kind of overachieving this year a bit as well.
mm-hmm.
But what everybody wants though, of course, is Charlotte Cleveland matchup in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Eastern Conference Finals, of course.
It can
And
happen.
we will call it the year of the shoe.
And then I mean Western Conference, you have the top. There's no given that Dallas can not beat Denver. I see no reason. Dallas is on a 4-game winning streak right now, and
Either way, there's going to be some broken hearts there, I think.
Oh yeah, I think Portland might lose to the Clippers.
Yeah, could happen. They've shaken stuff up this year since Brandon Roy started.
They were literally on top of the league, and then they made a bunch of trades. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and Walt and his Timberwolves, they went on a ridiculously successful run for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with New Orleans Pelicans team. Like, he's gotten he has good players. They just don't seem to win.
Hmm.
If that makes any sense. They're sort of like the real life Detroit Pistons, where they have good players and you just can't. Like the East in real
Yeah,
life is very competitive this year, I think, compared
yeah,
to previous years.
about time, really.
Yeah, really. And yeah, I mean it should be a really interesting playoffs this year in D5. I think that.
I'm looking forward to sort of 2 or 3 years from now when our Eastern Conference is back to being. Oh, I hope it gets back to being really competitive at the top.
Yeah, I mean you have Charlotte and Milwaukee, and then all you need is a couple good draft picks to go the East way. I mean the East is going to get the majority of the top draft picks this year. They just got to not screw them up.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if I got the #1 overall pick again.
Oh my God. Yeah. That. Oh my God. Yeah. I keep. I'm sort of like you. I'm trying to look to stop tanking, and I've got 3 picks that are not mine, that are first rounders. So I got both Sacramento ones and Indiana's one this year. And I'm scouting around looking for trades to trade those away for some, a bit of an established player
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, which is a big deal for me because it's the first time in about 3 years that I've changed sort of the approach to trading and stuff. But every time I think oh yeah, okay, I'll trade these picks away, and I'm like, oh my God, but if they somehow become #1 or #2 picks, I'll just commit seppuku.
After you've been waiting for it for so long.
Yeah, every single year, just losing out.
Uh,
And then if one of those jumped up to #1 after I traded them away, I'd just be like, nope. Oh, God.
I think the third worst I think gets what 15% chance at the #1 pick, and
I'm just
then you
looking
can.
up.
I
Yeah,
was,
15. But you've got like a 47% chance of being in the top 3 at, at,
yeah.
at third pick, which is pretty good. Unless you're me.
You'll be the 6th pick.
There's do you remember that time when was it? It was 2014 when Chuck and the Rockets jumped up.
Oh my God, that was annoying. I was so
And he
mad.
didn't even want Jabari Parker.
No, he didn't.
And like the shit I went through just to try and get Jabari, and then he said no, and I had to wait until the next year's draft. But it's paying off now. Jabari's doing well.
The weird thing, I think I'm sitting at 7 or 8. I mean, look at this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm just gotta throw a
surprised.
couple games to the Spurs. But I mean, 6th pick, I got 6% chance, but you get to add. All right, let's see. So you have Sacramento, which is
12th.
12th, and
10th.
Indiana 10th and 12th. And I know this isn't how percentage added. Maybe it is actually. I don't know. But so you
If
have.
you go on tankathon.com, it's got
Mhm.
the percentages listed there.
No, I was going to Wikipedia,
Oh,
but
sure.
I mean, you get Tankathon. That's a good one. Okay. So,
we should do a mock draft.
well, you have 15.6 for #3, so you get to add 12th, so 0.7. So you're
No.
up to
16.
16, and then you add 1.4. So you're almost at the second pick's percentage chance at the overall #1 pick.
Yeah. For me, it's more like top 3 that matters at the moment, I think, than this draft.
Yeah, this draft is
I think
weird.
that's the same every year, though. Really, so long as I get what I want is just top 3, really, and then I'll be content.
Well, I mean, like I look at the players in this draft, and I have just been underwhelmed every time.
That doesn't mean they're not going to do well, though. Like I was underwhelmed last year.
You were? I loved last year's draft. I was
Really?
pissed I couldn't get more people.
I was really, I've been really surprised. I wasn't even that high on Towns, to be honest. I thought I had Okafor at the top of my draft board.
I
But, like,
I
he
was
looks
reading
like
an
Towns
article.
now,
I was
which is-
reading an article right now that was saying like all the focus on like Kristaps and that's like all these other like random dudes. They're like, did we seriously just underrate one of the best prospects since?
Kristaps.
No, they're talking about Towns. Like, how underrated was the clear? Like, how much did we consider that Towns was the hands down #1 overall pick, and like just no one was
Mm.
talking about it? It was an interesting article.
Yeah, although he was always going to go #1.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Okafor was at the top of that for like the longest time that season, if I remember right. Just
Yeah.
because he was more known, I guess.
Yeah. And
But
then, but I really did not think Kristaps would be any good. I had him like 10th on my draft board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a goofy
think-
dude too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of reverse racist when it comes to when it comes to picking rookies. I'm
Europeans?
kind of I think no, I think I'm like I would shy away from picking a white guy, to be honest, which is
Oh,
terrible
really?
to say. It's terrible to say, but
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, if you look at some of the past drafts, like there was that's sort of like prevalent. I mean, is there a chance that
I once did like
that year Cody Zeller was in the draft? Like he should have been the #1 overall pick. I mean, I think he should have. It wouldn't have worked out, but he was a better prospect, I thought.
yeah. Well, 20. Well, Antetokounmpo should have been the top pick that year.
Yeah, that whole draft was kind of goofy, but
Well, yeah, 2013 was a weird one.
yeah.
None of that's panned out. God, I was so hoping Ben McLemore would get traded from the Kings, because the Kings are just like, they're just a train wreck. Like, and I hate the owner Ranadive, and
Yeah, he
you know,
sucks.
and I don't even like DeMarcus Cousins. He's just such like a moany, like I every game I watch with him, he just gets, if he gets angry,
Howdy.
he will just mess stuff up, and doesn't even care. Like I really think that's been recognized recently, but I recognized it before it was recognized, and yeah, I wasn't never been a big
How
fan
much of an
that stuff.
asshole did he have to feel? Like he was like talking shit about George Karl in the media, and then like 3 days later, like, oh, he has cancer. Like, oh, way to talk shit about a
Yeah.
cancer guy.
You'd hope he cares anyway. God.
Well, the thing that makes me upset is that like when he had the opportunity to leave, or like when he could have requested a trade, like he should have just done that.
Hmm.
That environment, they need to start over, and
But who wants him? Like,
I'd take him on the
When-
Cavs in a heartbeat.
yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm sure plenty of people want him. But like, well, I know the Spurs would not. And if you're looking to build a team that succeeds, the Spurs know how to do that. The Spurs,
true.
like, number of times I've heard Popovich say, "Well, we just look for guys who are like nice people above anything else. You know, they've got to be a bit humble and stuff like that." So
Well,
like,
they got to be willing to take their role if they want to win. I mean,
Hmm.
there's no,
DeMarcus is not that player.
but I think that winning, like when they were winning with that other coach that they fired after he got hurt, and then they went on a losing streak, and then they fired the guy for no reason.
What, Mike Malone?
Was that him? They
He was
started
the
out-
original guy, and
And
then
they were winning. They went on like a big winning streak, and like everything was hunky dory. Then DeMarcus Cousins got like staph infection. And
yeah,
he was out for like 2 months, and then they fired the one coach that was able to kind of rein him in and be like,
Yeah.
"All right, man, here's how we're doing this."
Mike Malone, yeah. And then they
Yeah.
replaced him with none other than Tyrone Corbin for like a month, and then fired him.
Yeah, the whole organization's a joke times like 2. It's dumb.
Yeah.
So who are some of the top prospects you like? I mean, you're gonna be whatever pick you're gonna be, so I don't think you're giving anything away. You're not making any
Well,
hardcore reaches from the 3rd spot.
yeah. Oh, you mean in this
You
year?
are. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look. I've got my little spreadsheet that I make. Hang on a second. Um, you know, I'm surprised Draft Express has Mellow Trimble all the way down at 36 at the moment.
Right.
Because I mean, he's not. I think
He was up to like 12 at one point, wasn't he?
he's riding on the back of the fact that he looks like Steph Curry when he's on the court, and there's a lot. He's going to get drafted higher than he will normally because he looks like Steph Curry on the court. But like, he's better than that. Like he's got a really quick release. I think
He can pass too. Like he's a
I
good
think
point guard.
Maryland
That's what
have
I
been
don't
like
get.
Maryland have been like one of the most entertaining teams in the NCAA this year. I think with Suleiman and Trimble and Diamond Stone, and they've
Mhm.
been really good to watch. And they've got this. I can't remember the name of this other guy they've got, but yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah. He was sitting like 15th pick, and I was like trying to target people who had that pick to try and trade for that pick so I could get Mello Trimble. And then now he's all the way down. Like I get him with the Indiana 2nd rounder. I feel like
Yeah, the thing
it
is,
doesn't
like,
make any sense. Like
you gotta balance it with whatever happens in the real life draft.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, if
this
someone
year,
takes Mello at 15, then
yeah. Although I tell you what, like this year, but this year Justice Winslow dropped, but in real life, but everybody knew we shouldn't drop. So
Mhm.
yeah, this is an instance where Dynasty 5 knew better than the NBA, I think.
Yeah, and I think some of those teams that passed on him probably had guards and small forwards that they were comfortable with. Like,
Yeah, I think I was reading something where they were saying basically like teams tend to sort of stupidly make over the top promises to some players that we are definitely going to pick you here because they don't think someone like Justice Winslow would be available where they're picking.
mhm.
And then apparently the Hornets promised the world to Frank Kaminsky, and then they felt. I still find it strange that they feel obliged to pick after that. Anyway, that's what I've
Well,
heard.
because that agent probably has other good players that they don't
Oh,
want
there
to
you go.
make
Yeah,
angry. I mean,
yeah,
that
true.
makes sense to me.
Mm.
One team, pick. I'll do this as well. You think that guy fell too far? Here's a player that I think has fallen too far. I think that where's he at? Grayson Allen was like at 25 the other day,
Hmm.
and now he's at 31. I think that Melo Trimble is better than Grayson Allen, but I think Grayson Allen is better than these 3 foreign guys that are right above him.
Really, I don't see how Grayson Allen's game could translate to the NBA. He's good at threes. I guess is he?
I
I
think
can't
he could be
remember.
like a Rodney Stuckey kind of small, tough guy, shooting guard kind of thing. Like he definitely would have a role. He's athletic enough, even though he's like
Yeah,
super, like the whitest person you've ever seen in your life. Not to be overly racist, but I mean, he doesn't look like he's athletic at all. And then he comes in and he just like jams these dunks down in people's
yeah,
faces.
and he was
And
really good in last year's NCAA final.
yeah, that was sort of his breakout, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. He just
And
came out of nowhere in that game.
yeah, and then all of a sudden he's in draft considerations. I don't even think anybody knew who he was. He's one guy that I think has dropped a little bit further than he should. What is a player that you think is overrated?
Let's have a look at the top of the board then. Who would I pick? I think Jamal Murray. Just in terms of like his game translating to the NBA again, same as Grayson Allen. He's obviously a very good player, but I don't see him being better than like sixth man in the NBA.
I think that's a good pick. Person I think that is overrated. This is an easy one, so I'll pick a real one though. Skal Labissiere. That guy is only still in the lottery because he's tall. I could box him out. He's that tiny. He's 7 feet tall and weighs like 25 pounds more than I do.
He
Like,
had a good game against LSU though.
yeah, he had one good game against a garbage team that didn't even make the NCAA tournament. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything to me. He's averaging 6 points a game. If
Oh,
he
you know
was,
what? I'm glad that Ben Simmons' stock has fallen. Because he can be so freaking annoying to watch. I've seen like 2 full games of his anyway, and just both games he's just so complete lack of effort. Most of the time, especially on defense. Sorry, go on about Scowler.
oh, like 6 points, 3 rebounds. Like, that's the kind of thing you expect from like a foreign player playing like 8 minutes a game. Like, Dragan Bender basically has those same stats, and he's playing like 4 minutes a game for one of those EuroLeague teams.
Tel Aviv, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think he's overrated, but that's an easy one. And the other player I think that is insanely overrated is Jaylen Brown.
Really? No, he's like I think he's kind of like Justice Winslow.
Yeah, but Justice Winslow can shoot and stuff too, though.
Yeah, he's not as good a shooter. That's true.
Like, he can't shoot. His free throws suck. Like, he's really athletic,
Yeah, and
and
he's just super strong. And
yeah, I
I
mean,
like him.
he's I don't know.
I
I
wonder.
don't think he'll be there at 6, so it doesn't really matter for me. But
Yeah, I wonder what I wonder how Buddy Hield is going to translate into the NBA because he is so good in college most of the time.
it's kind of like unheard of that someone comes in and has this kind of success in their senior year.
mm,
It's such a leap. I mean, if you are you on Draft Express?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a 9.
You click on him, and then you click like the comprehensive stats. He goes from 7 points a game to 16 points a game to 17 points a game, all shooting sub 45% from the field. And then all of a sudden, 25 points a game,
Mm,
50, shooting 50%. He was at the mid season. He kind of cooled off a bit, but like mid season, he was shooting like 55% from 3.
yeah,
That's insane, even if it is a little bit closer.
that doesn't matter in this case. I don't think.
No, and he's just jumped up in free throw shooting by like 10%.
But whenever I hear the scouts and stuff, they're always saying, "Oh yeah, he's probably like player of the year and all this sort of stuff." But but they always say, "Oh, but in the NBA, you know, he's going to be like a role player or something like that." But I feel like, I mean, to dominate so well in the NCAA, you can't ignore that at the NBA level. You know, he's just a head and shoulders above so many others.
I think that where this is gonna end up going is gonna be, is he 6'4", or is he like really like 6'5"? Does his wingspan allow him to not be a liability versus some bigger shooting guards?
Hmm
'Cause he's not a point guard. I
No.
think that his assist to turnover ratio proves that. He's basically the same size as Matthew Dellavedova, and Dellavedova is a big point guard, right?
Yeah.
But
Is he really?
I
Okay.
don't care how tall you are. If you are shooting nearly 50% from three-pointer, then you have a starting role in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. And the fact that he can get on it on defense, he's never gonna, if he's that small, he's never gonna be amazing. But if he can get after it, he can be enough to not be a liability. And if he ends up being if you draft him at 5 to 10 and he ends up being a player that averages 15 points a game throughout his career,
Yeah.
then you did a good job. Like, you didn't make a bad pick, even if someone below you ends up being really amazing.
Yeah, indeed. I wonder how much like Dwayne Wade Chris Dunn can be, because that's what his game looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's another
it
6'4".
worries me that he's a real point guard, though. I mean,
Yeah, true.
He's averaging six assists. They say he's insanely athletic.
He's
I
really
mean,
ball dominant, isn't he? He scores. He takes. He scores most on his
yeah,
team.
I think that you find that a lot with the point guards. Like, but there's like a couple. Like, there's a couple midget point guards. Are we allowed to say midget? Um,
It's all right. They're probably still taller than us.
yeah, well, no, like one of them, like the point guard for Kentucky, Tyler Eulis.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's amazing. He's really tiny, and the point guard for North Carolina is really good.
Marcus
And
Page.
yeah, and he's super tiny. And there's a couple other ones, and it's certain you every time you look at them and you see that they're not ranked very highly, and then you go and look at Isaiah Thomas and you go, I
Yeah.
wonder, maybe I take a flyer on this, maybe I reach on this guy a little bit just to see what happens, you know.
hmm
Biggest thing that scares me about um Chris Dunn is I don't know enough about. Like, was he a very highly regarded prospect going into Providence? Like, I can't imagine that he was.
Not hugely. Last year, yeah, I mean, he could have declared last year, and he still would have been like just mid first rounder. But
He had
yeah,
a
when he
better.
declared, he wasn't a high prospect.
He
'Cause
actually had a
he's not
better
like-
season last year.
Oh, did he? Statistically, you mean?
Statistically, I mean, maybe their team sucked or something, but
Slightly better last year, yeah. Just
but I
looking at-
mean, he was on the USA basketball team in 2013. I mean, he's been looked at a lot. It just makes you wonder that how important is 3-point shooting for your point guard in today's league. I honestly don't know what the answer to that is. Because other than that, he looks
I think,
amazing.
yeah. There's a bunch of guys who could just be like, who probably go in the second round, like Benajay from Syracuse. Who's the other guy I was thinking of? I'm just looking at Wayne Selden from Kansas and Karis LeVert from Michigan. Those guys could still end up being really solid starters on a team. Like sometimes Wayne Selden makes me think of Gilbert Arenas. He's really good.
Yeah, him and Caris LeVert has been very good for a
For
number
Michigan,
of
yeah.
years. Yeah, and he just doesn't get any props. Like, I don't know if maybe he's
He looks like Mal Crawford.
a little bit, doesn't he? Let's see what his stats were looking like a couple of years ago. Like he's never had a terrible bad season or nothing. Like
Yeah.
his 3-point shooting is up there. I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people and GMs in real life, they really have shied away from drafting upperclassmen
Yeah.
because the math shows that if you draft a freshman, there's a better chance that they end up getting better than someone who's brought in as a senior.
Yeah. That's true.
However,
That was kind of the choice with my pick this year. I went for Jaren Grant instead of Miles Turner. I would have picked Miles Turner. That has ended up looking a bit like a mistake. I didn't think Miles Turner could overcome the kind of physical stuff that was wrong with him, but he definitely has, and he's looking amazing now.
he's playing for Indiana, right?
Yeah, and he's had more opportunity to do well as well. Like when the draft was happening, Indiana still had Roy Hibbert, and I thought, well, he's not going to get much of a chance to even play.
Yeah.
But then they traded Hibbert or whatever happened in the offseason, and now he's the main kind of big in Indiana, and he's got all this opportunity. I think whether a rookie does well, it's so much about opportunity. But then with a guy like McLemore, I kind of refuse to believe McLemore sucks. Like, I just can't help but think it's situation with McLemore.
Well, I think that there's that is a big deal. Yeah, I think too many people, at least for our league, you don't have to do this in the real world, but you have to look at the types of situations these players are going into. I think that maybe one of the reasons that Thomas Robinson didn't do very well in the NBA might have been because he was on the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, absolutely.
One, and then there's only so much you can do, and you're not getting better playing for that team. And then all of a sudden you get put on a real team, and then you don't do anything right because you didn't learn because you were 19 years old. And then you just suck the rest of your career, and then you leave. I mean, you're a lot richer for it, but you had a career that could have gone places that didn't because you ended up in a shit situation.
Yeah.
I think that
Well, for a long time, I thought that was the case with Anthony Bennett. But
yeah,
I
I don't know what
think
happened there. That's so frustrating.
part of me still thinks he can be okay. He can still be a good player and everything. But I mean, he's not even in the league now. It's really weird how
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 quickly
badly.
he turned around and just was
Yeah.
completely bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any damn sense. And it he looked so good in college, and then like they were saying that he had like a breathing issue when he was sleeping.
Sleep apnea.
Yeah,
I've
and then like
researched it. And
we didn't like you mean to tell me that the Cavs didn't know about that? Like
Yeah.
really? Like why would you draft somebody with that?
I mean, even if he wasn't the first pick, I still really liked him. In 2013, my top three were Macklemore, Nerlens Noel, and Anthony Bennett.
Oh
Um,
wow.
because I really liked him. I thought because I mean, he came from UNLV and he looked just like Larry Johnson. Um, and I was thinking, yes, give me a renaissance of the early 90s Charlotte Hornets team that I started loving when I was a kid. But it was not to be. Yeah,
That 2013 draft was
it was a weird one.
yeah, a lot of weird players came out of that one.
Even Oladipo's looking a bit dodgy sometimes, and Michael Carter Williams is obviously, I don't know. When I watched the Bucks, he was just, he's just, he just so wants to shoot it way too much, and just does not kind of fit as a point guard, and he's supposed to be a point guard.
Yeah, I mean I felt like he was playing very fairly good for the 76ers in real life, and then he just was like, then he got traded.
Well, I think he was doing well for the Sixers because there was nobody else on that team. And I think he got traded because the Sixers sort of realized they could get a better return for him.
Yeah, maybe they didn't think he was as good as everyone else thought he was. Maybe.
Mm.
I mean,
Um,
Otto Porter's looking to be the best player out of that whole damn draft.
he's all right. I'm still not. I don't
Oh,
know.
other than Giannis, I guess is in there.
Yeah. It's true.
But Otto Porter right now is playing a much more important role for his team than any of the two above him, Victor Oladipo and Bennett.
Yeah, true.
Because when we were drafting the Cleveland Cavaliers, I wanted them to take Otto Porter because we needed a small forward.
Mhm.
We didn't need a power forward. We already had friggin' Thompson. Like, what the hell are you picking him for? And Thompson wasn't good, but I mean, you could tell he had something there. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Then I think with Mike Brown the coach back then, and that's why Anthony Bennett got buried in the rotation to begin with.
Byron Scott was the
Oh, was
coach
it?
then.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was the one that coached Kyrie Irving before they fired him. Rightly so. I hate Byron Scott as a coach. I don't like him.
Yeah, he
He just
doesn't.
stands there with his arms crossed for 2 hours and then he leaves.
Yeah, I mean, some coaches in the NBA just seem like caretakers in a way, and that's what he is on the Lakers at the moment, and that's what he was in New Orleans. It seemed as well, and like, or maybe not so much in New Orleans, but like on the Lakers, it's Kobe's team. Byron just has to,
Make
you
sure the
know,
little kids don't get killed.
just fill seats until the end of the season. Yeah,
My buddy he's like, hey man, do you want to go see the Lakers play the Cavs, Kobe's last game? And I said no. The
no.
the tickets were $135.
Oh wow, okay.
And you're not going to see Kobe play. You're going to see old man Kobe play. I never got to see Kobe play. I never will. Even if I had gone, that's not Kobe to me. The Kobe's the guy that comes in and drops 40 points on your head and then you freaking lose. That's the Kobe that I would have liked to have seen. I wasn't paying $100 to go see Grandpa Kobe. Like,
Aw.
you know what I mean? This whole thing where like they're just going around and people are paying all this money to go see him. Like, that's dumb. I don't like it. I mean, if we
I
could
would just like to be able to actually go to NBA games. When when they play one game a year here in London, and tickets for that, like crap tickets, the worst tickets are $190 US.
Oh,
I just did the
wow.
conversion. Just did the conversion on Google. It's ridiculous. And like the first year I went,
you gotta convert that to Filipino money too.
for what we need is a podcast where we get one of the Filipino guys to come in here, because
they were that one time.
Indeed. Oh, my headset's fallen off.
They play with pesos. They're called Philippine pesos. It costs $8,000 to go to a game in the UK if you're using Filipino money. Oh my god.
8,865 peso.
Yeah. Whew.
Pay it up, man.
Dang.
You guys, what I'm going to do is start a fund so that you guys can all donate so that I can go watch one basketball game in the flesh once a year to
by yourself.
The Noble Charity Fund. Oh my god. Okay, here's just a side story. I was on the train. Me and my wife went to Brighton yesterday because it was a nice and sunny day, and we came back on the train and we stupidly sat next to this really drunk guy. Oh my god, he was such an idiot. He basically started telling me how crap Dynasty 5 website looks and stuff, because he was looking at the mobile view on his phone, which just is the most basic stuff. And then he brought up his website that he made.
Wait, did you decide to just tell this drunk guy about your website?
Well, he was going on and on about how amazing his website was to start off.
Okay.
And he showed me it on his phone, and he's like, no, check it on my laptop. And it was the most boring, standard template out of the box website I've ever seen. I can't remember the address, otherwise I'd tell you. I don't remember it. It was terrible. And I was like, oh, really? How many page views you got? Have you got like Google Analytics and stuff, just to try and be polite? And he was like, oh, no, I don't. Like, but we know. I think we had like 300 people visit it and stuff. And then I was like, oh, yeah, check out mine. So I showed him it. And because it was on the mobile view, he was like, that looks like shit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, check it on the desktop view because that doesn't look shit.
Yeah.
You asshole. How dare you?
you got into a website programming beef with a drunk guy with a drunk guy on a train.
And then he saw the desktop version. He was like, yeah, that's good, but my website's better. And I was like, I don't think it is, man. and I was like, and he was like, yeah, well, how many website views have you got? And I showed him on my phone because I've got analytics, and I've got currently about 1.9 million hits.
Yeah.
And he was just like, okay. Anyway, that was just my little win from yesterday. I was pissed off. How dare anyone say Dynasty 5 looks crap? Well, the mobile view doesn't look that inspiring anyway. But anyway.
Well, isn't that partly from Pro Boards?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't ever changed the mobile view because it kind of just works.
Yeah,
So.
the only thing that sucks is the only problem with it is that you can't look at the roster and you can't look at the shout box.
Yeah,
that's the only thing with it. I'm usually in desktop view on my phone anyway. These phones are so damn powerful.
Yeah, I think I can change it so that rosters work. What I was going to do actually was make yet another one of my programs so that the league, the salaries and the rosters and stuff just are like a forum thread so you can read them. That would be loads easier.
Oh, well, I like it the way it is though.
Yeah, it is.
It's easy. It's easier to like copy and paste because it's table
That's
form.
true. That's
So
true,
if you
yeah.
take the whole thing and like put it into a Google spreadsheet, you can remove all the teams that you don't want, and then you can do like mock trades in there and stuff.
Yeah, it is good for that. Actually.
We go serious up in here. I'm gonna post something over in the little chat thing.
What?
This is the link. It should pop up if it doesn't.
Saturday Night of Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Is that going to broadcast to people?
No, I was just showing it to you because I wanted to show you for after we're done.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'll check that out. I started, but I'll check it afterwards.
But I think we've covered a lot of good topics. It was probably more of a chat than something with any sort of structure. But
We need to start. We need to do one closer to the off season.
yeah, closer to the off season, when there's more people, there's more of a reason to make it structured so it stays at least a little bit on track. We were kind of,
We're only 2 months from the off season now.
Oh, I know. It's
that
even
means we're
closer
like a
in real
month and a-
life.
We're a month. Yeah, we're a month and a half away from the trade deadline starting for playoff teams and stuff. So it's kind of getting to that point of year soon.
Yeah, get your trade offers in, people. I've got some good players. Every time I'm getting ready to trade Omri Caspi, I just can't do it. It just is
He
very
look at you. He
frustrating.
looks at you with his big puppy dog eyes, and he's like,
He has the biggest puppy dog eyes, and he's like, no, don't.
"Don't
I
trade
like
me." No.
I like it here in Memphis. People are nice to me here. You know, I've
Not like in nasty Sacramento.
yeah, right. He's the only person who's having a good year in Sacramento right now.
Yeah, true.
Like, he's the only person that really fits the George Karl system, like 3-and-D kind of guy.
Yeah.
So he's the only one that's doing good. Everyone else is just sucking. Like I can imagine he gets on the bus and just sits and just listens to music by himself and doesn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
All right. Yeah, I better sign up as well. I've got to cook some dinner.
All right, so here's the exit music. All right.
Who's that?
Flight of the Conchords guy.
Is it? I haven't heard this one. Glorious in how terrible this ending is.
That he guest starred on the Rick and Morty show, and that was the song he sang.
Oh, no way.
There's some awesome ringtones from that TV show. All right, Ian. Well, it's
Yes,
nice
thanks,
having you on,
Jeremiah.
and then we'll make sure that we get another one of these going before the end of the season.
Yeah, nice one.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
I'll
See you.
post it on YouTube. It'll be up in a little bit.